It's about bringing young men and women together from grade 7 to grade 12 to share music. It's about extending and enhancing the opportunities maybe that they don't always get in their school music program. It's about making friendships with people that perhaps they wouldn't meet in their lives because they come from so many different schools. And that's the lovely part of it, is that they join together in that universal language, which is music.
For many artists, music is an intrinsically fulfilling career, with many believing that if you achieve what you want to and you're happy, then that is success. Through exploring an established musician's perspective surrounding themes of journey, resilience, sustainability, and value, we can begin to understand the fundamental elements of a musician's career. Shannon Rogers, composer and arranger, and Jenny Moon, adjudicator and mentor, both have experience in the field of music education through schools and organisations, and would both be considered established musicians. Shannon was accepted into the Queensland Conservatorium, Griffith University, to study classical percussion after high school. During this time, he demonstrated the happenstance career theory, preparing to see and take up opportunities as they come, and falling into things, which led him into joining the Australian Youth Orchestra in his later years of study, becoming a turning point in his career.
I didn't know where I wanted to be, and I didn't know what I necessarily wanted to do, but I was doing. And if you can do, eventually things find you. And that led me down the path of doing my education degree. I did a lot of composing for various ensembles. I just got busy.
Shannon's career now in the education system is reflective of the linear career theory.
You've got to fall into a lot of things, is what I'm saying. Fall, and then be okay when you really fall and you're like, oh, that sucks.
Similarly to Shannon, Jenny's journey in the music industry began nearing the end of high school, considering auditioning for the Queensland Conservatorium, Griffith University, where she was then accepted to study a Bachelor of Arts in Music. In her final year, she completed a graduate's diploma of education and continued teaching music for 10 years. It is during her time in tertiary education that the linear career theory could be applied, as she moved up in status and position. A fundamental element of her journey began in 2009, when she became involved with the Voices of Birralee.
I wasn't really exposed to the choral world until I became involved with Voices of Birralee. And because they commission work and they have guests and festivals and everything, I was very much then launched into the choral world of Australia, and not only Australia, internationally. So that was very exciting, and I've been able to travel all over the world and meet amazing musicians and conductors and have incredible experiences and explore lots of different techniques and pedagogy and cultures and colours of different children's choirs and the timbre differences, which excites me enormously. So I think, the highlight was probably coming on board as part of the team.
Since last year, her career path shifts to reflect that of Donald Super's career development theory, as her work changed from music education to freelance, coming with its own advantages and disadvantages, such as changes in stable income.
You use your network well and ask questions and be curious about different things, because you don't know what you're going to want to do. You don't. In 10 years' time, you could want to be an astronaut. But whatever you do now, no matter what it is, will be important to your journey to get there. Does that make sense? Doesn't mean you need to study for being an astronaut, but you do need to be enriched with whatever's around.
The arts are an incredibly important part of our society and culture, but also equally as stressful. A research article titled Resilience and Mental Health Issues in Classical Musicians, a Preliminary Study, found that of the 64 musicians in the study, symptoms of depression and anxiety are experienced significantly more in students compared to the professionals. In another article, a study from the University of Westminster suggests that stresses such as, quote, antisocial working hours and an always-on mentality, driven by oversupply of music and a lack of boundaries, lead to musicians struggling to know when to stop working, resulting in isolation and a lack of meaningful relationships. The research also highlights the key challenges faced by female musicians, who have experienced inequality of access to a career and unfair treatment such as sexual harassment." End quote.
I think a lot of us as artists, we suffer from imposter syndrome.
I think some of the best advice that I've got from making this whole video was to persevere and use your network, because the people around you, your family, your friends, they are there to support you, and if they aren't, someone is, and someone will listen.
Arts, performance arts, they don't pay enough to sustain. And that's why you find incredible performers, beautiful performers, having to get multiple jobs to be able to supplement what they're making.
While skills in the arts are very valuable, for a small musician in performance, especially those with families, they may have to take on several positions to live comfortably. For many musicians, the education system is a financially safe and secure option, providing a fixed salary, superannuation, sick leave, etc. Jenny, now out of the teaching aspect of music education, experiences many advantages and disadvantages of freelance work, as opposed to Shannon's current position as head of department.
Yeah. And that stability comes, especially in the arts industry, comes from you being, the best at your craft. Like the reason I've got this job, the reason I'm good at composing, is because I've done a lot.
To a non-arts public, the benefits of music may not be understood or communicated properly. Over the years, science has uncovered the importance of music in culture and bonding communities, to music therapy and cognitive development for young children. Through the use of social media, Jenny advocates for the music education of children and shares musical media that often evoke strong emotions.
I take absolutely every opportunity I can to advocate for music education for children. I use social postings a lot whenever I can, particularly things that are research-based, mental health-based, emotive-based, but particularly at the moment, the research, particularly that Dr. Anita Collins is doing. Anything that's got, I guess what I'm saying is it needs to have a substance to it to say this is actually researched and proven that music in the early years and practicing instruments and learning instruments, etc., contributes enormously to pre-literacy skills and processing and so many things. When you start thinking about what it is music means to me, then that might open a door that perhaps you hadn't considered before.
Because eventually when you stick at it and you put enough in, you'll get rewards eventually, or it'll lead you somewhere. Who knows where things lead you?
Try and find what it is that you're going to love to do that inspires you and maybe inspires others.
Good education teaches you to learn, it teaches you to explore and be curious, and that's the best thing you can do as a person, because you'll end up, wanting to be better, because you'll be curious about it. Just persevere.
That's my advice.